Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing fine. Welcome back to our quest to build the perfect kingdom here in Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. I'll be upfront, I've had to re-record this episode because of a minor mishap. An hour and 45 I spent, and then something weird happened, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to jump right back in, but be forewarned that the commentary in this episode is going to be full of moments where I'm not sure whether I've already said something or if I need to say it again. But I think we'll get through it. So at the end of the last episode, we had gotten our wizards and our adepts, which were the last main heroes we needed for the basic defense and security of our base. But before I get into it, let me just remind you about what our objectives are, because it's always good to start by reminding yourselves of what your goals are. Now, the long-term goal, of course, is to have a gotta keep resurrecting people as they get killed. What I was going to say was our long-term goal is to have a kingdom, a settlement, with every single hero in it. And I think the magic number is going to be 4 of every single hero. So right now we've got 4 each of our healers, our adepts, our wizards, rangers, and priestesses. In this episode, we're gonna get the remainder of the heroes that we can get through normal play. That is, through building the guilds that are available to us. And we'll also flesh out the base a little bit more by building some stuff. We won't get into embassy farming. We won't get into the heroes that you need to do special stuff to unlock because they're normally unavailable to you. This episode, we're just gonna focus on the ones that we haven't gotten yet. So those ones are gonna be... Well, first of all, they're gonna be the heroes from these 2 guilds, which we haven't recruited anyone from yet. So let's start out by getting these guilds filled out. We'll be getting some cultists from the Temple to Fervus and some monks from our Temple to Daros. And as we carry on, we will... Oh, I also need to be upgrading my library. And you know what, let me save... I should have saved a lot earlier than this. I need to create a new slot. Smopolis... Session 2. Yes, this is our second session, even though it's the 3rd video in the series. That is, of course, because the first video was our theory crafting episode where we just talked about what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. Now, because we're hiring heroes,
Your Highness, we've improved the guardhouse.
more houses should be showing up.
The building has been upgraded.
So we've got 7 houses. This one down here is a bit of an issue because it's right here by the edge of the map. What I'll do is need to make sure all my houses are off my tax collection route and on my repair route. And I think this might be... Well, these 2 heroes are gonna give us 1 more house. One thing... Okay, who... You. Also, we'll be checking from time to time in the mausoleum just to make sure that I haven't missed any heroes dying. Although when a hero dies, you've probably noticed, number one, there's a line that they say, and it's a pretty conspicuous one, hard to miss. There's also a message that plays down here, although it can be hard to read because of the, like, it's a bright green text, probably not the best choice. So like against this background it's hard to read. But there's also a little graphical effect that plays on the mini-map. So between those three things, it's unlikely that I will miss a hero getting killed. One thing that I do want to do though, because of the houses along the bottom of the screen, is I want to build my wizard towers. I'm going to build this as far down as I can get. And this seems okay. Because I need a way to protect these houses that are right at the edge. And even building a guardhouse here, I'm not comfortable enough. I think wizard towers are gonna be the way to go. And our cultist has died, but he was
Your Majesty, our new building is complete.
like, I should applaud him for rushing out to this area filled with dangerous lairs. Alright. See if we can get a wizard tower. This is good, because this wizard tower is gonna give some nice coverage to all these houses. Seems good. The thing about the spells from the Wizards Guild is that there's some pretty powerful ones, such as this lightning storm, but you can only cast them. You see these circles that appear on the mini-map, you can only cast them within those areas, and you can't.
Your Majesty, our new
So
building is complete.
your Wizards Guild itself and your wizard towers will each have a radius within which you can cast spells, but you can't just build towers wherever you want. You have to have them within range either of a Wizard's Guild or of another wizard tower. So we've got a kind of a relay system here where this tower is connected to this tower, which is connected to the guild. But that's gonna give us some pretty good coverage, because if a strong enemy shows up from this part of the map, we can just throw down a few lightning storms. Each of them cost 1600 gold. I shouldn't be wasting gold, but I don't think we're gonna have to worry about gold from now on. I am gonna be a bit more cautious about actually checking my hero guilds from time to time, because the mishap that I mentioned, which led to me having to re-record this session an hour and 45 minutes down the drain, was that one of these heroes just vanished. Like, I didn't notice him die. I couldn't find him in the mausoleum. One of these monks just disappeared. And I had saved after the point where he vanished. Now, if he glitched into non-existence, that's not a death. I would have been okay with it, but I couldn't tell for sure what had happened. And if he had died, and for some reason like he wasn't allowed to be interred in the mausoleum, I don't know why that would be the case, but if something like that had happened, then I, need a... that would necessitate me redoing this part, and because I wasn't sure, I opted to redo the part. Now, we've gotten half of the heroes that we need. We've recruited all our monks, we've recruited all our cultists. There are 2 more that we need. We're gonna need the Elven Bungalow to get some elves. And we're gonna need the Rogues Guild to get some rogues. But I'm gonna wait for a while before I do that. Because the heroes that we've just brought in are pretty low level right now. And I don't want to flood my kingdom with low level heroes, because when they are low level they do require a bit of babysitting, because a single hit will bring them down. So you kind of need to support them a little bit more compared to your other heroes who are more more advanced. And that sound you heard, I can outrun the wind. Of course, that's one of our adepts reaching level 10. So those guys, it was slow to get them going because early on they just kept on running, but eventually they got going and it was fine. We just need to level up our wizards a little bit more. Unfortunately, the monks don't really go to the fairgrounds. They, as far as I can tell, almost exclusively wander between their guild and this inn, or I guess any inn that's close to them. But I did discover one way to kind of force them into combat situations. I'll do that in a bit, but before that, let me just emphasize that, like, it's very difficult to get monks to gain levels. In a way, it makes sense, you know, the whole monastic lifestyle. Like, you turn your back on the material world and you just want to spend all day, every day meditating, and that's fine, but at the same time, I do want all of my heroes to at least be a little strong. You know, let's just say, like, higher than level 1. Let's just leave it at that. I want my heroes to at least have a little bit of experience in them. I'm gonna be saving again. And I'll be researching more spells in the library. By the way, spells in the library, I think wizards can learn them by default, but it's not just wizards, because other heroes who have high enough intelligence can also learn some of these spells. And it's always cool when you see some of your heroes casting spells. Very cool indeed. On the topic of leveling up low-level...
Our research in the library is complete.
I was going to say, on the topic of leveling up low-level heroes, I should mention that when a low-level hero comes across a high-level monster, or a monster that they are... that's a monster that's out of their league, one of two things will happen. Either the hero will run away scared, or they will go into berserk mode. Now, if they start berserking, then they will keep on fighting until either they die or the thing that they're fighting dies. And in most normal gameplay situations in this game, you don't want your heroes to be going into berserk mode, because, like, it's just not efficient. You want your heroes to be fighting monsters that are an appropriate level for them, and you want your stronger heroes to be fighting the strong monsters. But in this case, I actually do want my heroes to be berserking against enemies that are much stronger than them. The reason being that... The reason being that if they do fight strong monsters, they can gain levels pretty quickly, and if they do die, they can simply be resurrected by me. And up here, in some of these layers, should be the boss monsters that I mentioned a few times. I can't remember if I mentioned them in the last video. I definitely mentioned them in the attempt that I've had to abort. This guy is berserking. Let's help him out with a bit of a thing. Let's even bless him. And what else can we give him? Stone skin, sure. That seems like a good time. And one more heal. And now he's got a cultist helping out, except he doesn't, because he's running away. Alright, now I need to keep an eye out on these houses, because, as I've mentioned, one of my goals, one of the restrictions I'm placing on myself, in addition to keeping all of my heroes alive, is to keep structures like these from getting destroyed. And I need to put this on the repair route, take it off the tax route. Structures like these, I referred to them as organically spawning structures, which you don't build yourself. They just pop up naturally as your settlement grows. Although there are certain conditions that need to be met. I already talked about, you know, the houses. For every 4 heroes you get a house. But there are also other structures. I think I mentioned the fountain at least once. So that's a bit complicated. I'll talk about it more later in this video. We may or may not get a fountain in this video. Definitely by the end of the next session we will have at least one fountain. So that's another building that'll just pop up, and the game will place it somewhere outside, like without asking you. It'll just plop a fountain down, and then if you allow it to get destroyed, you won't be able to get a new one without doing some, you know, without specifically meeting that criteria again, and that can be really annoying to do. There's a third type of building called the gazebo, which originally I had forgotten about, but that type of building, it'll pop up once we build the royal gardens, which I'm gonna do pretty soon. So one thing I'm gonna do is we've got this Rangers Guild here, and there's one very interesting thing you can do with the Rangers Guild. First, let me save my game, just in case I mess this up, is that you can actually move it. One thing and this is actually pretty cool, because one thing you notice with this guild is that unlike other structures, it doesn't have any, you know, solidly built buildings. It's just tents and other things that can be moved. And that's not just a visual thing, you can actually use this ability called Move Camp to instantly move your Rangers Guild somewhere else. Now early on I built my Rangers Guild here because it made the most sense. I needed all of my heroes in a central location because strong monsters were attacking and I didn't want, you know, somebody off on the edge. Now that we're secure, we can think in a more kind of role-playing almost mindset. Like we can think in the mindset of, well, what would a cool kingdom look like and what's appropriate? And I think with a Rangers Guild, wouldn't it make more sense to have them near the edge, right? Because these guys are explorers, right? They're frontiersmen. So I think it makes more sense to have them like somewhere out here on the near the periphery of the base. And in fact, I'll even have them slightly outside. Let's put them where to do it, because I need to leave room for some other things. I'm going to build some more stuff here as well. But let's put them here. Yeah, let's put them here. Actually, no, let me save my game again. And let me also just check all of my guilds. I'm gonna be checking this pretty compulsively, I'm afraid, because of that mishap that I've already talked about. So I'm gonna... Oh yeah, I'm gonna move my Rangers Guild. I'm gonna save again. So what would it look like if I moved it here? Now, I don't like it because it's got a grassy thing and it just looks out of place in the middle of this terrain. So I want to put it in the grass somewhere. So maybe I'll put it here. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll move the camp here, let's say. That looks pretty good to me. It's kind of out there, but we are gonna build some things, so it won't... At the end of it, it won't feel that disconnected from the base. And where we cleared it out, we actually have space where we can build something else. And I think what I want to build here in the center is a Hall of Champions. So that seems like a nice thing to have in the center of the base, right next to our palace. And that seems like a good spot for it. I mean, it was the only spot for it, really, because the guild was there and, you know, that was the only spot left once we moved it. And, you know, you can move your guild literally anywhere in the map. If I wanted to, I could put my guild right here between these two dragon lairs, but I'm not gonna engage in craziness like that just yet. I'm also gonna carry on researching, and I'm gonna be checking again from time to time
Your Highness,
on all my
our
heroes.
research in the library is complete.
Like again, I would understand if you think it's annoying that I keep talking about a failed recording that in a,
Your Highness, our
you know,
research in
practical
the
sense
library
didn't even
is
happen, but once some really weird glitch happens, it kind of throws you off and you're insecure for the rest of the playthrough, wondering, will it happen again? So I'm gonna be nervously checking on all my heroes, probably for the rest of this playthrough. So don't mind me. Another thing I want to do is, okay, our guys are competing at the fairgrounds, that's pretty good. He's visiting the Hall of Champions, which I just built. And a few interesting things about the Hall of Champions. Let's read what it allows you to do. It lets you place timed bounties on any of the monsters, on any previously defeated monster type. So, if we click on this, we can see all the types of things we've encountered on this map so far. And I don't see Rongel the Hunter on this list. So maybe we have not spawned him yet. But yes, what you can do is you can place a bounty. For instance, you could place a bounty on dragons, on trolls, and when you do that, it'll encourage your heroes to go after those monsters. It's a more efficient way of targeting an entire enemy type rather than a particular enemy walking on the map. Like, I know there aren't that many enemies on the map right now, so we could even do that, but if this was a more crowded map, then rather than putting a bounty on each individual vampire's head, you would go to the Hall of Champions, find vampire on this list, and place a bounty on that entire enemy type. So that's that talked about. I'm also gonna build... I'll wait to build it later on. I was gonna say I'm also gonna build the Royal Gardens, but the Royal Gardens will then spawn another building and I'll have to talk about both of them. So for now, let's build things that are, you know, obvious things that we need but have not built yet. One of those things is going to be the Magic Bazaar. Let me save my game again. Throw down a Magic Bazaar. I want to not do that because I want to avoid destroying this pond. I'm sure it'll get destroyed by some automatically spawning building later on, but I want to keep it there for as long as I can because it looks pretty good. Sure, we'll throw down a Magic Bazaar there. And what this Magic Bazaar will do is it will sell all kinds of potions that will help your heroes. I mean, I don't think our heroes need that much help, but you know, why not give them a bit of a boost?
Your Majesty, our new building is complete.
Alright, let me start researching some tonics. Let me also take a quick drink of water.
Our Magic Bazaar now offers fine new elixirs, Your Majesty.
And like with every building, you need to research everything you have available before you can upgrade to the next tier. I'm also gonna be...
Our Magic Bazaar now offers fine new elixirs,
Yeah,
Your
our
Majesty.
wizards are looking decently leveled. Our cultists are doing really well. A lot of it will be from having competed at the fairgrounds. If only our monks were that proactive. But it's very hard. I mean, unless something like, you know, something happens like a monster spawns right underneath this lair and then attacks their guild. Barring something like that, because when your guild is under attack, all heroes will go back to try and defend it. But barring something like that, they will almost never get into combat. I almost never see them do anything different beyond walking to this inn and walking back. But I will have a way to try and force them into combat.
My service ends.
And it's actually a pretty clever trick, which I discovered during that ill-fated recording session, which I had to get rid of. Those two voice clips
Has been upgraded.
you just heard, one of them was Practice Makes Perfect. That was one of our wizards reaching level 10. The other one, something like My Soul is Replenished, that was one of our cultists reaching level 10, and one of our cultists just died. Like that, I think, is one of the most hilarious death clips in this whole game. Oh, what is going on? How did this dragon get through and do this much damage? Ooh, he's berserking. Get some levels. Get some levels. You will never get a better chance to level up than this. Level 5. Fantastic. Ooh, so that was a blessing in disguise. That dragon who, instead of attacking the Crypta Temple, attacked this inn. Right. Yeah, I think he leveled all the way up from 1 to 5. That was a nice bit of excitement that we just had. What I'm gonna do right now is... Yeah, this is another thing that happened throughout in that recording session, is I noticed the levels for my priestesses are snowballing out of control. Like they are all level 50 plus, and that is because they spend more time at the fairgrounds than anybody else. And you know, like it almost makes me a little bit nervous because like this game isn't that old, but it's old enough that it makes me worry that if somebody gains too many levels, it'll be a higher number than what the game can handle, and it'll cause the game to crash. Like, I don't think if they hit level 100, for example, that it would break the game, but it just makes me nervous, especially since like you will never need a level this high for anything in this game. I do want to keep the fairgrounds open. Specifically, I want to keep the magic competition open until this hero reaches level 10, and he just reached level 10, and now I'm going to shut down... Well, I'm going to make it an archery contest. So that means the priestesses are going to have to leave for now and do something else. And ooh, I haven't been neglecting my magic bazaar. I'm going to upgrade it fully before I build the next thing. And it's time now to build my next two...
Magic Bazaar now offers fine
guilds.
elixirs, Your
I think I'll fully upgrade my magic bazaar before I do that. And I will also build where is it? A sorcerer's abode. And I'm gonna put that sorcerer's abode right here. Here maybe, you know what, let's leave it. Let's come on, man.
Our Magic Bazaar now offers fine new elixirs, Your Majesty.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, quickly before somebody walks in front. I'm gonna put that there for a very specific reason related to what I discovered in that session. It's a way to get your monks, to encourage your monks to engage in some combat.
Sovereign,
Let's just
building has been
leave it
upgraded.
at that. Alright, let's get the last few spells here. Any
Outrun the winds.
second now? One of our adepts hit level 10. Yeah, I made it a ranged competition because this way our cultists are still eligible,
Your Majesty, our new
but
building is
our
complete.
overpowered priestesses can take a
Our
break,
Magic Bazaar now offers fine new elixirs,
and
Your Majesty.
you know, they can do other stuff. They can buy things, they can maybe fight monsters for a change, because there's no point gaining all those levels if you're just gonna spend all your time at the fairgrounds, right? You have to actually put that power to some use.
Sovereign, a building has been
Adept
upgraded.
is... Well, he was doing some good work, but then he took a hit and ran away.
Our Magic Bazaar now offers fine new elixirs, Your Majesty.
Alright. Let's just look through our roster of heroes. How many types do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we've got 8 houses as well. That's the 8th house right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just confirming to you that we haven't lost any yet. The reason I've built this sorcerer's abode right here
Sovereign, a building
is
has
because
been
of
upgraded.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the spells that we get. Before we talk about the spells that we've gotten, let's admire the fact that we have every single spell available to us, except for the Helios spells, which sadly we can't get because we can't build a Temple of Helios on account of having already built the Temple of Lunord. Like, normally, you'd have to choose between Agrella and Crypta, between Doros and Fervus, but because of the special starting condition we went with, we got all of those together, and the only choice we really had to make was between Lunord and Helios. And I picked Lunord because this is useful when you want to give your heroes a bit of a boost. Alright, I'm just gonna nervously look around again and see what all of my guilds are at. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is... okay, now let's talk about the Sorcerer's Abode spells. This one is really good. It's called Change of Heart. So if a hero is fleeing, and if you cast this, it'll cause them to do the opposite of what they're doing. So if they're fleeing, they will start berserking. If they're fighting, they will flee. There's another important spell called Gate, which I'm going to cast. And what that does is... well... that didn't work. Okay, it did work. It just took a while to work. What that does is it'll transport your heroes that were close to the Sorcerer's Abode to the destination that you've chosen. And what I was hoping was that this would encourage some of the monks to do some fighting. It seems that only one of them has taken the bait. Ooh, and he's berserking against Rondal the Hunter, one of the boss monsters. This is good. Now, I want to make sure that he doesn't die. I want him to get as much experience as he possibly can, because he could level up all the way to level 10 from this. But that dragon isn't going to help. I'm just going to heal... I'm gonna heal him relentlessly. Once he hits level 10, I'll once he hits level 10, okay, he's at level 10. And you know, there's no reason to let him die now. Not when he's so close to killing Rondal the Hunter. Okay, nice. And now he's fighting a dragon. But with a warrior to help him, I don't think he's gonna have any trouble. He's fleeing because of his injuries? Not anymore. Now he's fighting again. He's reached level 11.
I'm melting.
Another one of our wizards has died. So we leveled one of our monks up to level 10. The rest of them, unfortunately, just walked all the way back. But I guess one is better than none. Yeah, that was the trick I mentioned, like how to get your monks to do some fighting. Although it is a bit of a... there's a bit of a luck element involved in whether they actually do fight or whether they run away. Not even run away, like just casually walk away. If you look at their status, it's not even that they're fleeing, it's just that they want to go to the inn. Like, they have possibly the strangest AI out of all the hero types we've seen. Okay, now that we've gotten some experience for our monks, And now that our cultists are at higher level 2, I think it's time to now build our next 2 guilds. These are going to be the last 2 that we build in this episode, although it'll take a while because I want to level them up a little bit as well. First thing I want to build is the Rogues Guild. Similar logic as the Rangers Guild. With the Rogues Guild, right, it wouldn't make much sense to build them right next to the palace, because if you're a rogue, chances are you want to be away from prying eyes, so you want to be more towards the edge of the city where you've got a bit of privacy. So that's why I'm gonna build the Rogues Guild here, all the way on the edge of the map. I'm gonna throw it down here. And the next thing we want to build, and we might as well build it at the same time, is the Elven Bungalow? Yeah, the Elven Bungalow. And I'll build that one here. Okay, let's... Once again, I'm just gonna make sure all 8 of my houses are intact. They are. We're about to get a 9th house.
Your Majesty,
Ooh, this guy is doing some good work. He's fighting against a troll. Hopefully nobody comes to help him. Oh no, change of heart, run! Oh no. There was too much to do. What I wanted to do was to cast Change of Heart on the strong monk and then heal the low-level monk who's fighting the troll, but I wasn't able to do both of those things quickly enough. One thing that did get done is we built both of these structures, but I'll do them one at a time. We have the Rogues Guild, which we can also upgrade, by the way, and I'm going to start hiring some rogues. And rogues are some of my favorite heroes. I'm gonna look around. One thing that... Oh, really? A sewer entrance has killed that pond that I was trying to save? That's a bunch of garbage. One thing I should point out, though, is this option at the bottom of the Rogues Guild, the extort option, this will allow you to gather all of your currently uncollected taxes in one immediate lump sum, and you get it instantly. Now, the drawback is that you won't get the full amount. The rogues are going to keep a portion of it, and you can actually see how much they're going to keep, right? They keep almost like 30%. They take a pretty big cut. Now, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to lose so much money? It's because normally tax collection is pretty slow, and if you're safe and there's nothing threatening your tax collectors, and you don't have an urgent need for money, then yeah, there's no need to extort it. But if you're playing a map where your tax collectors are always getting killed, and you desperately need money right now, then this is a pretty good option to just get some quick cash in the bank. Other things that you can do at the Rogues Guild is that heroes can come here and pay to get their weapons poisoned. And they can do this at the upgraded Rogues Guild. And also upgrading it improves the... like, you get a better deal when you extort. I'm gonna recruit 2 more rogues. And the 4th rogue that we recruit should give us house number 10. Yep, house, oh, house, sorry, house number 9, which has popped up over here. It kind of makes me nervous, it's right on the edge, but I don't think we've too often had attacks come from this angle. So we'll leave them be for now. Before I move on and start recruiting elves, let's talk about the rogues a little bit. What they do is they are easily influenced by reward flags to the point where they will often... Okay, rogues are already getting killed, but that's okay. I mentioned I don't mind my low-level heroes berserking because it means they'll gain levels quickly. Speaking of gaining levels, before I talk about this, I should talk about a more general mechanic in this game, that there are a few ways your heroes can gain experience. The most obvious one is by engaging in combat, and the stronger the things are that you're fighting, the more experience you'll get. But you can also do that, like, heroes can also gain experience by engaging in other class activities. For instance, if you're a ranger, you can gain experience. Ranger and a few other classes do this. They will gain experience by exploring the unexplored parts of the map. That no longer applies because the map is entirely explored, but that's one way to gain experience. Another way, for example, if you're a healer, you can gain experience simply by healing other heroes, or I think even civilians count for this. So they gain experience that way. If you're a dwarf or a gnome, you gain experience by building or repairing buildings. And if you're a rogue, one of your class activities is stealing. Like stealing from monster lairs, stealing, like robbing gravestones whenever a monster gets killed, or even when a hero gets killed. Even stealing from your own kingdom's buildings. And if they do that, if your rogues steal, they do gain experience for that. I find that absolutely hilarious. Let's see, like, this one is looting gravestones. Probably this one, or maybe someone's already looted that. Oh no, he was looting something here. But yeah, that's what rogues will do. I would really like to get this guy above level 1. Alright. Do want my rogues to gain a little bit of experience, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start recruiting elves now. And initially I said I was gonna get 4 of every class, but I think I'm gonna make an exception for the elves. For 2 reasons. Number 1, you'll see the first reason as soon as this hero gets recruited, is because you can have a maximum of 2 elves per elven bungalow. So if I wanted to get 4, I would have to build a second elven bungalow, and if I built a second elven bungalow, it would spawn a second elven lounge and a second gambling hall. And I don't necessarily want more of these, because it would just be redundant. And let's talk a bit about what these 2 buildings do. They will attract your heroes to them. Your heroes will come and spend money, but they cannot be taxed. Like, they will come here and gamble. Occasionally heroes will actually win by gambling. And by the way, you can gamble yourself. Let's, I don't know, bet 250 on red, spin, and it was blue, we lost, whatever, who cares. yes, your heroes will come here and gamble, they'll come here and just chill. Whatever happens in the lounge stays in the lounge, something like that. And all the money that they spend will essentially be siphoned away from your economy, because it'll disappear from your hero's purse, and it also can't be taxed. Now you might be wondering, wait, hey, it's a pretty bad drawback, so why would you want the elves in your town to begin with? And the reason is, it doubles the amount of gold generated by your marketplace. So it greatly improves your economic strength at the cost of, you know, clawing some of that back by taking some money away from your heroes. So for that reason... Oh yeah, let's put this house on the repair route and off the tax route. Our elves are already gaining some experience. Alright. Things are looking fine. Our people are gaining levels. I'm waiting for one of these elves to do one other thing before I talk about it. I guess while I wait for that, I'll build something else. Let me go ahead. I'll build the royal gardens, because that's one thing I haven't built yet. And building this should spawn another type of automatically, organically spawning building into our map. Assuming this rat doesn't destroy it. Okay, let me see. I guess I don't know when they will do it off their own accord, but one thing elves will do, let's look at the description, is they will perform musical shows. So at your inns, occasionally an elf will show up and they will perform as a bard, playing some music. And that, I think, it improves the... Here we go! An elf has showed up, and he is here performing as a bard for the benefit of these people staying at this inn. Alright. And I also built these royal gardens. Now somewhere on the map, a gazebo should spawn it. It spawned right here. That's a pretty good spot. Excuse me, that's a pretty good spot for it, actually. Now, what happens at gazebos? They are basically just places where heroes can rest for a while. And they look kind of cool. Another thing I'm gonna do is... I want to build another inn on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And at some point, if I build enough inns or marketplaces or blacksmiths, I will get a fountain to spawn, but I don't know if this is gonna be enough. I'm gonna go ahead and place this in. How much space would an embassy take? I'm gonna build 2 embassies here. One here. One here. So if I build this in up here, that should leave enough space. Let me just save my game. Assuming no annoying sewer pipes spawn here. So I'm gonna build my inn up there. That seems pretty good. It didn't destroy any of these trees. And let's confirm that we've got space to build our embassies. Oh yeah, we've got tons of space. We've got tons of room. Of course, we're gonna have to wait for our.
My gold alone.
Gonna have to wait for our peasants to walk all the way to that part of the map, and
Leave my gold alone.
wait. Oh, vampire killed you.
Speed, Lord.
Oh hey, yeah, get some kills, get some. This was the level 1 monk.
Your Majesty, a new building is complete.
Yeah, no, resurrect yourself. He didn't get a chance to get more hits on that, but hey, one of my goals got completed. All of these guys are now level 2. One of them is past level 10. That is beyond my wildest expectations for these guys. How are these guys doing? Pretty good. They're all above level 10. By the way, I haven't mentioned this, but you've probably figured it out already. Once you're past level 10, I guess once you're past level 11, it'll display the numbers like this. I guess because it doesn't have enough room to display them side by side, so it's, I guess, kind of annoying, but you know what, it's fine. It's fine. So I think we're getting close to the point where we're probably gonna start wrapping up. Hey, this guy walked all the way here, and if these guys are walking to these other ends, maybe they're gonna find more monsters along the way. Could be a good way for them to maybe get some extra experience. Right. Before I end off this episode, I think it's time for me to... Or do I want to do it in the next episode? So I want to build some small kind of rest stop areas, one over here and one over here, and in them I want to put trading post, an inn, and a guardhouse. You know what? Might as well do it in this episode, and it might as well be the last thing I do. So let's.
No fun at all.
One of our elves has gotten killed. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Build a guardhouse, inn, and trading post. Let's go ahead and do that. What's a good place? Yeah, I guess this is fine. And trading post. One thing I should check is, has a fountain spawned? I'm checking my building roster, and it's in alphabetical order, so if a fountain spawns, it... Are you serious? Or... Okay, I'm... How many days have passed? 4 days have passed. Okay, I'm gonna load because not that much time has passed. I don't want... I know, like, these are buildings that we can just easily replace, but I don't want them getting destroyed. So, okay, I had not built that inn yet, so I'm gonna rebuild that inn. The Outside Inn. Great, great name. And while those dragons are distracted, I'm gonna try and do this thing. Oh, not a fairgrounds, but a guardhouse. Nope. In trading post. Actually, you know what? I should do it differently. I should make it so that... Well, first of all, I should wait for this to get built. So that my peasants can go towards it in a more focused way. Let me make sure nobody's died. Of course, one downside to all this is that one monk of mine who gained those levels has now, or that one level has now lost that level because I've loaded my game.
Your Majesty, our new building is complete.
Dude, why aren't you going to fight the dragon? I may need to build something here to help deal with this dragon. That in is fine. And that rogue got a ton of gold because he was the only hero around when that dragon got killed. So he is going to be able to buy quite a few things. I'm going to make one more attempt at this. And if it fails, then I'm just going to... Excuse me, I'm just going to end this video. I'm going to do it like this. Inn on top. Guardhouse here. Trading post here. The reason I put the inn on top is that if a dragon comes, I want them to attack the inn in the hopes that there's going to be a hero inside and that the hero will do something. And our peasants are moseying along. I could speed up the game, but I don't really want to. Oh! At first I thought my warriors were going to help my peasants, but he just turned around and didn't do anything. That was a disappointment. Oh, he's gaining some levels. I'll be ready to heal him, but he didn't need it.
Leave my gold alone.
Alright. Things are not looking good. Okay. I need to gate in some heroes. Oh my god, guys, somebody attack this dragon. And I need to help out this ranger because he's the only person dealing with this dragon.
Your Majesty, our new building is complete.
Okay, this might have been a bad idea.
Your Majesty, our new building is complete. Your
No, no,
Majesty, our new building is
don't,
complete.
don't flee, don't flee. Maybe I can convince him to turn around with change of heart? But in the meantime, I'll research this. I'll research some arrows. And hopefully we can keep...
Majesty, your trading post now offers healing potions. Your Highness, we've improved the guardhouse.
Hopefully this can be enough to keep things fine. I may just have to resort to gating in
The
heroes.
building has been upgraded.
Yeah, because the healers aren't gonna be able to do much.
Your Highness, we've improved the guardhouse.
But we've successfully built one of my rest stop areas. And we have one more to build. I'm gonna accept this. Me build second one on this side, approximately here. Let's say around here. Again, in on the outside. Guardhouse. Trading post. This might be a bad idea, but just for the purposes of like building in a kind of realistic way, I think it would make sense to have these little outlying areas. Ooh, one thing is we should have a fountain on our roster. Yes, finally a fountain has spawned, again on the edge of the map, unfortunately. But as long as we don't lose it, it is on the repair route by default. So as long as we don't wrangle the hunter is out and about again. Let's bless this hero. That should help him out a little bit. And our peasants are still on their way here. Yeah, I guess people are staying at the inn, although usually just to take refuge, it seems. Come on, don't run away. Don't run. Oh. Yeah, I cast Change of Heart on him so that he goes into Berserk mode.
Leave my gold alone.
Alright. Finally, our peasants are over there doing some more building.
Our new building is complete.
Alright, like this is kind of working. This is kind of working. One major downside to this, of course, is that if these buildings get damaged, it'll be such a
Your
pain
Majesty, our new building is complete.
for our people to repair them. But you know what?
Victory is not in the cards.
I'm willing to accept that.
Foul feast of urges.
Alright, we're taking care of that vampire. I'll upgrade this stuff, and that's gonna be the last thing we do in this episode. Before
Your Majesty,
I do anything,
building is complete. Majesty, your trading post now offers healing potions.
you know, I didn't want to do this, But I think I am gonna have to build a second elven bungalow. Because this mess that I've gotten myself into basically necessitates doing this. Because the elves are gonna run around between the different inns. You know,
Your Highness, we've improved
performing
the
their
guardhouse.
musical routines. And that'll give a little bit more security to these areas. Because otherwise they are going to be very, very vulnerable. Even with the one guard that's patrolling around the area. Maybe I should build a second guardhouse, as if that's gonna help against a dragon. Long term, I will be building something in the center of the map, which is gonna be an even bigger lightning rod for the dragon attacks, but for now... Yeah, so this guy walked all the way here just to rest at this inn. He wasn't fleeing from anything. He just wanted to rest there, similarly with this guy. He walked all the way here to rest at this inn. So those guys are also going to go between our different inns. And this guy has
Your Majesty, our new building is complete.
gained a level again. So it's going to help out in that way as well.
Sovereign, a building has been
A bit of a
upgraded.
synergistic thing going on. Those guys are going to go between the inns, and by doing that they are also going to maybe get into some combat and gain some levels. But we are going to have to
Your Highness,
get some more
we've
elves
improved
on
the
our
guardhouse.
payroll. And yep, another gambling hall has sprouted up. Another elven lounge. So we've got some on that side, some on this side. I guess that kind of works. It's where I would have put it if I was planning out the city. So I'm gonna recruit 2 more elves, and that's also gonna give us 1 more house. We've got to remember that, because previously we only had 2 elves, so we were halfway to the point of getting another house. This is gonna put us at that point. This is gonna give us house number 10. It also gave... Oh, okay, this is not good. This is not good at all. We need to... we need to... If a dragon attacks this house, it is gonna go down immediately. It is gonna go down within seconds. Hopefully no dragons make it this far. But to be on the safe side, I'm gonna build a guardhouse right there. And I keep saying I'm gonna do this, and then I'll end the episode, I'll do that, and I keep adding to that list. But this really is one thing that I absolutely need to do before ending this episode, is I need to build this guardhouse, and I need to... cast gate there, just...
Victory is not in the cards.
Oh my god, somebody attack this dragon, please.
I'm out of here.
Like, you see what I mean, right? You see what I mean. That has made life very interesting for us. Ay, ay, ay. Even when this guardhouse gets built, all it's gonna do... It's not gonna kill the dragon, like, because how could it? How could it? All it's gonna do is... give us one thing that's in the dragon's path.
Your Highness, we've improved the guardhouse. Sovereign, A building has been upgraded.
Are you shooting the dragon from this distance? I guess you are. I didn't realize your range was this long. But good job. Good job, dude. And let's research some veteran guards. Alright, so against all odds, and against my expectations even,
We've improved the guardhouse.
somehow this scheme is working. Somehow it hasn't fallen apart yet. Our fountain is still alive, that's good. And let's just take a look through our roster. So we've got 4 heroes of each type. Let's confirm. Well, one of these guys was polymorphed into something else, which is why he didn't show up in that list. Let's look at everyone else. We've got 4 of those. Oh, you're also polymorphed. Oh, yeah, you guys need to stop. You guys need to stop terrifying me like that. Maybe I should just click on the guilds and note that they're all full, rather than giving myself minor panic attacks by scrolling through the roster and seeing only 3 of them. All right. So it's looking fine. I guess a better way would be to see our total number of heroes. I guess it doesn't give us the total number. It just sorts them in this list. But you know what? Let's just be glad that none of them are dead. And finally, now it's time to call this video to a close. Before I do that, I'm gonna have to destroy this ratapult. Nope. Chain lightning. That house is on the repair route. Oh my god, what is happening? Okay. I'm gonna cast Wither against this dragon. I'm gonna cast Wither against this dragon. That should slow them down. I'm gonna... Okay. Somebody needs to step up against these dragons. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... Okay, this is... Okay, this inn has been destroyed. This guardhouse is about to be destroyed. It's okay, we can build another inn. So maybe this scheme wasn't ready. You know, let me load my game a little. Let me see if I can save this with a gate, and let me see if I can save this with a really high set of bounties. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to save this because nobody's going to gate there quickly enough. This guy was visiting that inn, but it got destroyed. He's fleeing in terror. I'm gonna have to put a bounty on this dragon as well. Okay, after I deal with these dragons, I'm gonna call this video to a close, and why are you fleeing in terror, dudes? Alright. I'm gonna have to rebuild. Alright, the final thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rebuild this inn. Absolute final thing, pinky swear promise. Like, what I really need is to build the stuff in the middle of the map that's gonna be the real lightning rod. And you know what? Because my peasants are spread so much, I think I'm just gonna have to end this video, and all that stuff I was talking about that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to do it in the next video. So on this rather weird note, I'm gonna call this episode to a close. When we come back, we are going to finally flesh out our kingdom, and we are going to deal with this problem that I've created for myself, almost like a grave that I've dug for myself. But trust me, we are going to somehow get through this. Alright. We'll kill this dragon, and then we'll call things to a close. What I really should do is I should just deal with these dragon lairs, shouldn't I? You know what, we'll finally, you know, it's over. I'm done with this video. I cannot drag this any longer, because this is all stuff that's for the next video. So when we come back, we're gonna deal with all of this, and we will finally get all the remaining heroes that we haven't gotten yet, and we're gonna do everything else. I know I've delayed the end of this video by about half an hour longer than I needed to, but I mean, can you blame me? You probably can. I shouldn't have. But we're gonna fix all of this next video. I hope you enjoyed this. You know, despite the weird ending that is due entirely to the mess that I've caused. But I hope all the same that you'll join me in the next video, where hopefully things will go a little bit smoother. Alright? So, thank you for watching this one. Hope to see you in the next one. Alright? And until then, take care.